Well, thanks for staying with us. This is Firecrackers. Wherever you're watching from around the world, we are live from our studios here in Lagos, Nigeria. I am Kelly Egiga. Joining me at the table tonight to get some perspective on the People's Democratic Party and the myriads of challenges confronting that party. Tonight's governorship aspirant 2007, 2011, 2015 and 2019. He also served as the former Southwest Zonal Financial Secretary, Organizing Secretary and Acting Zonal Chairman. Now, amongst other things, he is an industrialist, a businessman, as well as the State Chairman of the Lagos People's Democratic Party. I'd like to thank you so much, Engineer Deji Doherty, for coming tonight on the program.
Thank you very much.
Indeed, you're a man of many dynamics, I must say. There's so much about you. But let's begin with something very, very pressing. Mr. Chairman, your party has suffered a series, in fact, of setbacks very recently with the defections of, very prominently, the governor of Ebonyi State, Dave Umahi, to the APC. Of course, we also have the likes of Engr Daniels defecting. There are also rumors that some PDP governors, especially in the South, I'm trying not to be very specific now, are making plans to defect to the All Progressive Congress. The big question is not whether your party is in crisis. The big question is the PDP falling apart?
Well, first of all, I'd like to thank you for having me on your show.
My pleasure.
Right, and also to commiserate with the families of the victims that died in the plane crash this afternoon. May their souls rest in perfect peace. Having said that, I would like to correct an impression. And that impression is, first of all, PDP is not falling apart. Secondly, Umar, right, the governor, you know, that crossed over to the APC, has already mentioned to some of his colleagues that it was a mistake. That's one. Two, the issue of Engr Daniel. With all due respect to Otuba Engr Daniel, Engr Daniel had crossed over to APC early 2019, you know. So he has always been a member of the APC. You know, he's... But then he chaired the Atiku campaign for yeah, immediately after he did that, before the election, he had moved to APC.
Before the elections?
Yeah, before the election, he had moved to APC. You know, Titi Oseni is already in APC. Who was his speaker, you know, in the House of Assembly. His deputy governor has moved to APC. You know, all these people are in APC. You understand? And you have videos and everything on TV, him stating that he is in APC. Now, when you talk about Omishore, for instance, again, we need to correct all these things. It looks as if the media like to create news out of PDP. You understand?
It's not about the media.
But Omishore is in SDP. So why are you saying that we are losing Omishore from PDP? He even contested for governor in SDP. Do you want to say the media is not aware of this? He contested against Adeleke from SDP, on the platform of SDP. So he's moving from SDP to APC. And then, you know, the media should also understand the dynamics of politics and democracy. Democracy is a situation whereby you disagree to agree or agree to disagree, and at the end of the day, the majority have their way, the minority have their say. You understand? If you don't have that in the chemistry of democracy, then you're not practicing democracy.
Engineer Doherty, is all well with the PDP at the moment?
Let me say this. You can't have any political party. Is all well in American politics? Is all well in British politics? Is all well in the German politics? You see, that is democracy. You cannot have everybody face the same direction. You understand? So definitely there will be discerning voices, and as human beings, some people will just, even when you see a color that is white, everybody sees it white. Someone will see it black. Someone will see it black. And that is the dynamics of democracy.
So are you saying that the defections of Umahi, the defections of Senator Abo from Adamawa State, the defection of even Engr Daniels is not going to weaken your party in any way?
Does a tree make a forest?
Those defections,
let me tell you something.
Are you saying that those defections will not, or has not weakened the PDP in any way?
It cannot, because Engr Daniels is not in PDP, Omishore is not in PDP, Omaya left on his own. The other
he left the PDP.
He left from PDP, but
Senator Abo left the PDP.
Listen to me.
Senator Abo left the PDP as well.
No, listen. When one, even if a member of the ward leaves his party at the grassroots level, people that believe in him will feel it. But you see, can you count the grass on the floor? That's what you call the grassroots. PDP has the capacity.
Mr. Chairman,
you understand?
Can the PDP bounce back before 2023?
PDP, in the situation we are right now, you know very well that the PDP has gained compared to 2011.
So there's a situation?
No, compared to 2015, for instance, where we had maybe about 12 or 11 governors, today we have close to about 16, 17 governors. So
and some of them reports say they are shaky. They are neither here nor there.
Let us see them move.
It does appear that it's only a matter of time. I mean, before.
Let me give you an example.
Because the governor of Kogi State has revealed that there are more governors from the PDP who want to defect. As a matter of fact, even a member of your party, Fani Kayode, there are also reports in the news about his defection as well.
Listen, right? When we're talking about defections, PDP doesn't drool on defections. We have two major governors that are in our kitty. Look at Edo. Look at Otom. You understand? Look at Otom. Otom moved from PDP to APC, and then he found out that APC was rubbish. He came back to PDP. The Edo State governor saw that APC was rubbish.
No, APC,
he came to PDP.
Well, Mr. Chairman, of course, you will have to keep your language simple. I mean, that's a party, of course.
No, I'm talking about the party. I'm not talking about a person.
Okay.
You understand?
As we begin to leave that, we'll come back and talk about the issues.
You want to leave it now because I say that Edo State governor moved from APC and Otto moved from APC. It's okay, let's move on.
As we begin to leave some of these major defections and some of the things that have played out, I mean, there are those who think that the PDP hasn't done well as an opposition party since 2015. What's your position on that?
What would you want the PDP to do under the circumstances? You know, people are feeling, do you want PDP to burn the whole country? People are already hungry. People, insecurity, hunger, unemployment, you know, taxation, foreign exchange devaluation. Do you want PDP now to go in and put kerosene in the fire? No, PDP, listen, we are custodians of democracy. So we do everything, even as an opposition party, we do everything to secure that democracy in Nigeria is instilled, is sacrosanct. You understand? So we will not go on the level of APC and go and do Freedom Park. Look at what is happening in Lagos. They created Freedom Park. They did all the protest marches and everything. PDP for once never sent the police when we were in control of the entire police force. But look at just young people protesting at Lekki Toll Gate, and look at all the hullabaloo They rolled out the tanks. You understand?
So speaking about the protests,
PDP.
Some members of the APC think that the PDP somehow, some big wigs are behind those protests.
I'm sure everybody knows better. I'm sure everybody in Lagos State, everybody knows better.
Is the PDP behind those protests?
Why would the PDP be behind? People are frustrated. You can't stop it. It's just like in Engr. The military has taken over in Engr. People are out there. Will you say it is the opposition that sent people out there? No, they didn't. This is what they feel. The Lekki toll gate is an illegal collection of taxes.
It's owned by the Lagos State government. It's owned by the Lagos State government.
Yes, but it's illegal because the expressway has always been there. There's development levy that has already been paid by everybody living along that corridor. The federal government, if you even investigate it, you'll probably find out that the federal government has even paid for the renovation of that road. You understand? But you see, people do not know their rights. They need to read the Constitution. They need to understand the rules that guard every citizen in this state. And then they will know what to do. The right to gather is a fundamental human right. It isn't something that the state has anything to do with. If I were the governor of Lagos State, what I would say is that, look, let us go for a referendum or let us go for a public hearing on this toll gate. The people are the ones that own government. Government does not own the people.
I'm just wondering, as the chairman of the Lagos State PDP, how many referendums were conducted in the 16 years of the PDP being in governance? Yeah. I'm also wondering how many public hearings the PDP had for the past 16 years when the PDP was in governance. But we'll stay with the PDP as we take a breather now and come back and talk about how the party is also indeed responding to some of the stories of national interest, the issue of the kidnap in Kagara, precisely Kagara school boys in Niger State, really worrisome indeed, as well as some other national issues and all of that. We'll talk about some of these issues, as well as the Reconciliation Committee. We'll find out from the PDP chairman in just a moment if he's open to reconciling with the warring factions. That's in a moment. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Stay with us. This is Firecrackers, and we stay with the PDP 2023, the massive defections, as well as what exactly is playing out in that party as regards some of the crises amongst the warring factions. At the table tonight to shed light and get some perspective is the Lagos State PDP chairman, Engineer Deji Doherty. Well, Engineer Deji, let's continue with the video we've just watched. The Defense Minister Bashir Magashi, retired, he has come under a lot of criticism. What's your position on that video? I know that your party has put out a statement condemning it, but what's your position, especially here in Lagos State?
Well, in Lagos State, you see, men, or let us say politicians that are in very sensitive positions should really take time in making pronouncements and saying things in the air. You understand? The insecurity in the country over the past 6 or 7 years has been a serious sham. You understand? If you remember when Buhari was coming in, he said he was moving to the battleground, or to the front line. He wasn't going to stay in the back line. But what has that happened? It hasn't happened. Nothing. As a matter of fact, the insecurity in the country has now become even worse. And definitely, you are going to have a lot of people playing politics with what is happening.
Are you saying insecurity is worse?
It is.
Worse?
Listen. Look at how many people have died over the past 6 years, compared to even when PDP was in government for 16 years. You understand? The most important thing is that our borders have become very porous. When you have Alhaji Aregbesola, that is I think he's the Minister of Interior, you understand? You know that it is on his table. Immigration. You are all complaining that people are coming in from Niger and coming to kill our people, rape our people, slaughter our people. bringing cows to graze, and finish up our farmlands. And you know, and you are authoritatively saying it, that these people are coming from Niger Republic, they're coming from the Sahara area. But what are you doing? It is straight away he should just resign. You understand? That's my take. But you understand? He should just resign and make sure that someone that can keep our borders intact, you understand, is put in that position. You understand?
Engineer Doherty, I'm not sure resignation is part of our culture in this particular climb. I mean, I'm not sure any PDP member resigned in 60 years, and I'm not sure things were 100% okay. But let me ask you this question now. Yeah. Does the PDP, what regrets does the PDP have for being in governance for 60 years? Are there some things your party looks at now and regrets that probably they should have fixed? I mean, for instance, the Boko Haram, for instance, started in 2009. The PDP was in power. The PDP had a chance to put an end to that when it just started. Are there some regrets that your party has, that you think that if the PDP probably is given a second chance, the party may want to fix?
I won't say that there are many regrets, but definitely you can't complete your tenure and say that you've completed everything. For instance, we didn't fix the power problem. That is more economical and more visible for us to place a finger on. We did not really fix the electoral act. Do you understand? That's another area. And thirdly, the biggest mistake that I find out that we must have done was to allow the APC to come into government. You understand? Because we are
Nigerians decided, actually. Nigerians wanted.
If you say so, for me personally, you know, in Borno, Yobe, Kaduna, Kano, I think Zamfara or one of those states, about 6 or 7 states did not conduct free and fair election. You understand? For me, you understand? But that is history now. You understand? But the thing is that Boko Haram that you brought up was brought in by some of these dissidents. Those are
allegations.
Let's
begin to wind down now and zero in on here in Lagos. Okay. What exactly is playing out? You have been described as the embattled chairman of the Lagos State PDP. Are you still the PDP chairman in Lagos chapter?
Well, you addressed me as chairman now, and you've been trying to get the chairman, and you finally got the chairman.
I've been trying to get used to it because, I mean...
You see, let me quickly straighten that out. The PDP in Lagos State has been following a particular pattern for the past 22 years. I have been in the PDP for the past 21.5 years. You understand? Now, where you have a change of pattern, I came in by open vote. You know, the whole ESCO voted on the day I emerged. So I won at that election.
And that should be somewhere in 2019?
Yes. Okay. And I won in that election and I became the chairman. But you see, I have to come with a mission. I have to come with a vision for PDP. I have to come with a blueprint for PDP. Being a former aspirant, full-time former aspirant, being a passionate member of the party, you understand, being an old-time member of the party. I contested when I was 38 years old, and I'm going to be 60 in a few months. You understand? So at the end of the day, where you have change, you're going to have discerning voices.
Because you have been accused of misconduct, you've been accused of misappropriation. I mean, even your emergence actually was also a subject of controversy. Those are the issues.
Yeah, you know, it's normal. It's normal. You know, if you tell me that I didn't expect that, then I'll be lying. You understand? You know, they are going to say that I'm misappropriating what? If you ask them, the national doesn't give me any money. They don't even pay party dues. They don't do anything. They don't bring any money. So what are you misappropriating? Tell me. You're misappropriating zero. So when you hear politicians, you know, I am not a 24-hour, 7-day-a-week politician. You understand? And I know what I believe the party should be like. For instance, we need to bring up the youths. The youths have to start taking their place in the running of affairs in Lagos State PDP.
Right.
We should stop, the elders should continue to advise the youth.
All right.
We need to set up different structures.
We have to
within the
go
party.
now.
No, let me just finish.
We have to go in 60 seconds or less. We have to go now.
Yes, in 60 seconds. What I'll say to round this up is that when you come to the table, he who comes to the table should come. He who comes to equity must come with clean hands. Do you understand? Those people that you're talking about now, are they coming with clean hands? But this is not the place for me to say all those things that...
Well, Engineer Deji Doherty, Lagos State PDP chairman, would like to thank you most kindly, a businessman as well as an industrialist, a 4-time governorship aspirant. We'd like to thank you so much for coming on the program tonight. We sincerely appreciate your views and we wish you the very best, especially with the reconciliation committee. I hope you are open to one.
Yeah,
reconciling with the warring factions.
We always like let them come in clean hands. That's all.
Thank you so much for speaking with Galaxy TV.
I'm a man of peace.